Hello and welcome to this video on Spanish pronunciation and on the consonant sounds. We're going to focus here on the sounds of consonants, which are slightly different than how you would pronounce them in English. Okay, some of them are ever so slightly different that you're going to think, is it really worth it? Maybe not, but I felt like I needed to talk about them. So let's have a look. The four letters that we're going to focus on this video are the following. They're the letters B, D, L, and T. Okay, and here I've pronounced them, or I've called them by their English names. Yes, we've got B, we've got D, we've got L, and we've got T. Okay, so these letters. Okay, let's focus first on this letter. Okay, this letter in Spanish is called B. B. Okay, B. Now, in English, the sound of this word is a bit explosive. Okay, and you might find it silly when I call it explosive, but I think this is how you will better understand this. Okay, in English, the sound of this letter is a bit explosive. So, for example, in a word like bike, bike, bike. Can you hear how it sort of explodes a little bit? Bike. It's quite close to the sound of a P. Bike. Or for example, I don't know, let me think of another word. To belong. To belong. Yes, to belong. So it's a B, but it's got a bit of a... It's not that far from a P. Okay? Now, if I look at the same letter in Spanish, I might find a slight difference. If I look at a word like, for example, abuela, listen to this. Abuela. Abuela. Okay, this is the Spanish for grandma. Abuela. Can you notice the difference between abuela, abuela, and belong, bike, abuela? Okay, this is a soft sound that is done just by putting your lips together. Okay, abuela, and releasing the air between them. But you bring your lips close together, but you don't quite completely close them. Okay, to belong, it's strong, it's an explosion. Abuela is soft. Okay. In Spanish, however, sometimes you will find a sound that is very close to this, if not the same. Okay, in words that start with a B, okay, when the B is at the beginning of the word, like for example in bote, bote, it is a bit more explosive. Okay, bote, abuela, it's got a slight different sound to it. Okay, abuela, bote. Okay, it's a small difference, but the difference is there, and I want to mention it. Okay. Now the next letter, the next sound that's a bit different is the sound of the D. Okay. In English, yes, in English you call this letter, you call it D. In Spanish, we call it de. Okay, de, de. Can you hear the difference in the sound? De. Again, as in the case of a B, in English the D is explosive. Again, yeah. Again, it is explosive. So if you've got a word like, for example, dog, dog. Or you've got a word like, I don't know, dame. Okay? Dog, dame. This D explodes. It goes duh, yes? In Spanish, it doesn't. If I take a word like divertido, divertido, which is the Spanish for fun, divertido. Can you hear how it's much softer? Divertido. Okay, again, I do this sound by putting my tongue between my teeth. Divertido. Okay, another example of this sound could be, for example, the word hada. Hada, the word for fairy. Hada. Okay, so I hope if you compare dog to hada, I hope you can notice the difference in sound. Another letter that sounds different. Another one that's got a difference in sound. This one is quite slight. Okay. Nonetheless, worth bearing in mind. In English, you call this letter L. L. In Spanish, we call it L. L. okay? A little bit, I don't know how to explain it in this case, okay? L, L, okay? If we compare the pronunciation of the word London, London, to the Spanish Londres, okay? London, London, Londres, okay? You will see that it's pronounced slightly different, okay? Again, very subtle, very different, but it is there, okay? And then finally, let's look at this letter, okay? The letter that in English you call T, okay? In Spanish we call it T. T, T. You might be able to already hear the difference, okay? T, T. Again, T is a little bit more explosive than the Spanish T. So if we take a word like, for example, the English tomato, tomato, yeah, I'll say again, tomato. Oh, I struggle with this word. I should have chosen a different one. Tomato, okay? Just focus on the T's, nothing else. Tomato. In Spanish, we call this word tomate, okay? Tomate. So listen to the T's. Here it's tomato, here is tomate, okay? So again, this T explodes, this English T explodes much more than the Spanish T. Tomato, tomate. Okay, and while I'm doing this and I'm using my English and I'm giving you examples in English, I hope, and of course you will have noticed, my English pronunciation is not perfect whatsoever. Okay, I do make mistakes all the time, especially when I'm really trying to think about the pronunciation of the English words. The better I want to pronounce it, the worse I do it. But I hope this helps you. You know, this helps you realize that, well, actually, my Spanish pronunciation doesn't have to be perfect for me to be understood, okay? Always, of course, aim for perfection, but don't let you aiming for perfection, don't let it come in, get in the way of you actually trying to speak and trying to use the language, okay? If you don't do your B's perfectly, if you do D's perfectly, if you don't do your T's perfectly, is someone not going to understand you? No. Is it going to make a difference? Not really, okay? Unless you want to be a spy and want to pretend to be Spanish person, a native Spanish speaker, you probably, nobody's going to mind if if your D's are a little bit too explosive or your T's are a little bit more explosive, okay? So this video really is quite, it is going quite to the detail, okay? So don't worry too much. Do give it a go. Do try your best. Do try to, to get your pronunciation to being as good as possible. But, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. I'm the first one. I make some massive mistakes and some of them quite embarrassing, okay? So do give it a go. That's the most important thing. Thank you very much.